Good afternoon and welcome to this Digital Day webinar session 2. My name is Pierre Germain. I'm the Technical and Regulatory Affairs Manager of FECC. So we will start by a short introduction on FECC, and then we will go for the presentation that I'm sure they will be very interesting. So FECC, we are the only European association representing all the chemical segments from the petrol and fuel industry to the life science. We have all company size from startup to multinational. We cover the whole supply chain function, and we have a special interest for SMEs for them to benefit of our service. Many of our members are family-owned business. So when we say that we are covering all the supply chain, this goes for warehousing, recycling, formulating and blending, R&D, technical and regulatory affairs, logistics, and packaging. So important date to say, we will have the FEC Annual Congress from the 10th to the 12th September in Hamburg. And this is really a very interesting place to learn what is new in terms of regulatory, and what is the economy, how is the economy. And it's also a very good opportunity for networking. This annual congress is very successful usually and appreciated by our members. So something very important is that, of course, this webinar should be done in respect of the antitrust legislation. Therefore, I ask you to not speak about any business information like price, marketing strategy, and all the topic I'm sure that you know. If I see a problem, of course, I will stop the discussion. But usually you well trained about antitrust legislation. So one of the important part of this session is the Q&A session. Now, in order to address your question, you will see at the top of your control, you will see Q&A. This icon Q&A will allow you to address question that will be visible by myself. And at the end of the three sessions, we will review the question we received to address to the participant. I think it's important that you don't wait the end of the three presentation to address your question, but please do it as soon you have some. This will usually the best way to progress. Now, we will have three very interesting presentations. One from Ken Chimp, which is Smoke B2B marketplace for selling chemical slow inventory. The second one will be from Knode with practical application of artificial intelligence in distribution. And the last one for Special Chem will be how to distribute with product master data hosted in a PIM, created new value for their principal customer and shareholder. So the speaker we will have today is Tom Schroefelen is the general manager of ChemChim. We'll have Charlie Beal, which is vice president customer operation, and we will have Christophe Cambry, founder and CEO of Special Chem. So I will now give the floor to the first presenter, and Tom, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the kind words, Pierre. And of course, thank you to the entire FECC team for all their nice work in organizing this event. As mentioned, so my name is Tom. I'm the general manager and co-founder of ChemSmog. And we are a B2B marketplace for preventing chemical disposal. The main reason why this all came to life is if we look across the industry, between 4 and 6% of the annual production volumes of these high quality chemicals are being disposed of. I think this is something that is that requires a change. So between myself and my co-founder, we hold over 3 decades of experience in the industry. And we firmly believe that this is the moment that it's time for action. So we came with a sustainable solution for these chemical stocks, which is our B2B marketplace, which is specifically designed to give new life to these underutilized chemical inventories. We do this by connecting as many players as possible in the chemical industry. But of course, we uphold a certain standard that we find very important. So we register the companies, we verify that they are part of our chemical industry and are valuable partners for the community. We will then initiate our matchmaking process where it is our sort of job and our proprietary knowledge how to find the right buyer for the material. Then we broker the deal, because of course finding a buyer is one step, but to really get the connection and to make sure that all the parties are happy is quite a process. And the final phase, of course, will be delivery, where it's just a matter of making sure the material gets handed over from the seller to the buyer. So what we are very proud of is that in the end, we operate under a very strong win-win solution effect. So we ourselves, as ChemSmog, we operate under no cure, no pay. So we will only take a commission upon successful sale. So we really highlight the benefits for both the seller and the buyer. And when it comes to the seller, we are very, very happy to say that you transform a cost, your inventory cost into a revenue. You save time because you outsource this scouting and matchmaking process. We will ensure you get a customized solution. As I think many of us know that the chemical industry is not a straightforward sales process. It requires specific handling and answering the right questions. And by selling the products instead of disposing, you're minimizing your environmental impact. On the buyer end, through our platform, you will have access to an extensive chemical inventory. You will save time and money, and especially the time part is these are materials that are readily available. So these are chemicals standing ready. They are already existing in the value chain. So there is no delays, no lead times. These are materials ready to be, let's say, transported and or used. And also in this case, we are reducing the environmental impact. As I mentioned, the materials are already existing in the industry. Just to give you an idea of some of our successful trades, in 2024, we sold a batch of EDTA. And you can see on the seller side, there is a small increase in revenue and a prevention of disposal cost. And on the buyer side, we have an interest because you buy below market price. So there is a saving involved also for the buyer. One of the latest additions to our, let's say, ChemSmog adventure is we concluded an LCA study in collaboration with Wolfram Chemie, a company specialized in LCA analysis situated in Berlin. And actually, by doing this LCA study, we realized that we save an impressive amount of CO2 emissions. So the savings in this specific case was 67%. And what was also interesting for me is that the saving actually is not in the disposal, because in the end, you move the disposal from one party to the next, because you extend the life chain of the material. The biggest part is in the reuse of the material, because from an LCA perspective, we actually don't have to produce a new material to fulfill the demand of the client. And this, for us it is an important highlight that emphasizes the importance from a sustainability impact of what we're doing. But also it's nice to see that there are the numbers that we can quantify the benefit of what we're delivering. So for us, it's all about unlocking the value in the chemical industry. As I mentioned, we're a young startup. So we launched in January 23. We have averted over 500 tons of chemicals being disposed. So we're very proud of that. From a growth perspective, we have now clients across 12 different countries, spanning 3 regions. So we also went through the process of all the importing and exporting. So we are getting more and more familiar with these processes as well. We are proud to have already several achievements. So yes, we are a very proud member of the FCC. And we are also recently, we became member of the ASIC in Italy. We won Logicam last year, and now I'm actually present at the Circular Valley convention. So it's we are making some very nice progress there as well. So how does it actually work? What does it mean? Because for me, one part is introducing a bit how we do it and what we're proud of, but what does it mean for the people in this call? becoming part of the community. So I hope this one works. But just in short, we want to emphasize it's quite a straightforward process to become one part of our members. And then I just would like to highlight some of the steps for people that are potentially interested in buying stocks, or how it actually works in the standard process. So we have the stocks online on our e-platform. You select the material that is of your interest. Then you can easily see, okay, the product name, the price, you can see the availability, and potentially if the product is expired, yes or no. You can see the packaging, where it's located. There will be information like technical data sheets or certificate of analysis, but these are generally blocked. These are not readily available. Only for verified users, these data can be downloaded, because we aren't sure that it's not that those data don't just fly around. And then, of course, we come to the point that it should in the future work as a standard marketplace platform, where you can either make an offer. So if you see an interest in a material, but you believe that the price is not right, you can actually make an offer to the owner of the material. You can add it to your shop and actually continue the buying process like any kind of like an Amazon. And what is very important, and this is for both parties involved in the trade, there is a disclaimer that of course highlights that these are products that are sold as is, where is. These are not standard fresh material, and you cannot hold accountability either to the seller or to the platform. So we are a very small and young team. We are currently with 3 people, of which one of course is myself. And I would like to thank you for listening to me, and looking forward to receive many questions later in the in this presentation. And again, thank you also for the attention and for the work of FECC.
Thanks for this very interesting presentation, Tom. We'll now move to Knode, and Charlie will make the presentation for us. Thank you, Charlie.
Great. It's good to see everybody. I appreciate you guys making the time and spending a few moments to learn more about Node. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here this afternoon. A big thank you to Dorothy, Lars, Pierre, and Diana for hosting, and the entire FECC team for having us and providing the stage today. My name is Charlie Beal. I'm the Vice President of Customer Operations here at Node. I've been leading commercial teams here at Node for about 5 years, and it's been an amazing experience. For those that aren't as familiar with Node, we are a pure play software and technology firm headquartered in the US and with operations around the globe. So at this moment, I'm actually in Hamburg, Germany, the site of the next FECC Congress, which is quite a coincidence. And I'm here to onboard a few new members of our European team here in Hamburg, where we're growing quite quickly. Today, I hope to share a few practical applications of AI across distribution, in particular where we focus in the data layer and how this unlocks different use cases across the application layer that is commonly referred to. So to share a bit more about Node before getting started, I'll start with where the name originates. As you're all aware, the chemical industry is incredibly interconnected, but this historically is true only from a buying and selling perspective. From a data perspective, it's often very fragmented and siloed. This is the case both within and between firms. So our mission at Node is to become the node in a network that connects knowledge. And that's how you arrive at the spelling that is somewhat unique. Originally founded back in 2017, we built the company on one simple insight, that connecting a company's data is the foundation for digital transformation. And over the last few years, we've raised a bit over $180 million from the world's leading technology and software investors, and have hired over 100 software engineers to bring this vision to reality. So let's start with the problem, and by level setting there. The problem, or the root problem in this industry, is the data. We'll talk about why this problem is particularly challenging in chemicals, and how we move beyond the most common AI chatbot use cases in order to more truly operationalize your data across the business. But if I could leave you with one message from today, it's that until the product data problem is solved or addressed, until you're able to reliably feed clean, comprehensive, and accurate data into your core operating systems, where your most employees, or where most of your employees are spending their time and working today, your organization will not be able to realize the full potential of AI. And so what does this mean for distributors? As compared to suppliers, the problem is particularly complex, the problem of product data. Not only do you have far larger product portfolios and thus much more data than your suppliers, but each of those suppliers categorizes and classifies their products differently. While this certainly makes the solution more challenging, it is a significant opportunity if you can harness this complexity for the sake of your own business and your stakeholders and customers. So how does Node help you with this? In short, we help you operationalize your data. And what does that mean? The first step to achieving this is to establish the data layer. And this begins by ingesting product information from all of the various sources across your business. We do this with technology that we built in-house that leverages the latest large language models. And after we process the data, we organize and classify that data within a knowledge graph and industry taxonomies that we've developed internally. We then store that enriched data in an MDM system that acts as a central source of truth for your business. And from there, we enable you to feed that product data that's now been cleansed, structured, and enriched into not just your core operating systems like SAP or Salesforce or Microsoft, but we also let you feed that into other applications that either Node has developed or that you've developed in-house. And so by establishing this clean data layer, you're now able to take advantage of your data throughout the rest of your business and the applications that power your teams and your different customer experiences. Specifically, to dig a little bit more into the AI processing of the data, it all begins by ingesting those large quantities of disparate data from across the business. And these could be spreadsheets, they could be PDFs, they could be handwritten documents that we've seen in thousands of different languages. Once we ingest the data, we want to structure and organize it after extracting it. Being able to set up standard hierarchies and categories across your portfolio, and ultimately harmonize and enrich all of those attributes into a unified taxonomy. So these large language models today, while very powerful, by themselves are not yet capable of making sure that your product data is both comprehensive and accurate to the levels that you need it to confidently power your most critical business systems, and to give you trust in how that data is going to flow and enable you to make decisions confidently with that data. So to summarize, once you've established that data layer and you've stored the product information in an MDM system, you can then feed it into any of the core systems that power your business, as well as into any other downstream applications that you may want to use to empower your customers, your business partners or vendors, as well as internal employees. So this is really the first step that unlocks digital transformation and any other project that you want to undertake. Specifically across the distribution market, we see a handful of most common use cases, from establishing a more proactive and comprehensive product master data team, being able to feed enriched, reliable, and comprehensive data into your internal systems, being able to quickly harmonize records across ERPs and to accelerate ERP transformations, and then also a set of operational use cases to make sure that once you've established this data layer, you're able to empower your field sales team by instantly giving every sales rep 20 years of experience, or to set up an entirely new digital sales channel that gives your commercial teams another source of engagement or leads with customers. And then finally, very unique ways to enable customers to self-serve and to free up capacity for your internal teams to focus on higher value activities. A particular example that I think is highly relevant today, particularly in Europe, given the regulatory climate, is customer self-service. As regulations have become more strict and more onerous, this has weighed or added a burden to internal regulatory and compliance teams. And often these teams are burdened by numerous requests for product information, questionnaires, and technical info. And this can consume large amounts of time and energy and focus from your teams. And so by leveraging AI to quickly establish the data layer and feed an application that sits on top, you can provide easy access to customers who are looking for some of the most generic basic information, and they can answer questions themselves to deflect the number of cases or the number of inquiries that your teams are receiving, thus freeing up capacity for them to focus on not only higher value activities, but maybe the most complicated and challenging requests that they're receiving across the business today. And of course, just about everybody is looking for ways to leverage their product master data to build additional applications on top. This requires first getting your data into a central source of truth, being able to feed your MDM comprehensively, reliably, and efficiently. But once your data is established within your MDM system, you can then build powerful applications on top of it, feed this data into other business critical systems that enable you to make smarter decisions across procurement, supply chain, like we've talked about, regulatory, as well as really unique commercial applications like next product to sell or very powerful product recommendation engines. And this starts by streamlining and automating data management as well as data maintenance, which to be done at scale across the product portfolios as large as many chemical distributors can be quite onerous. And so to be able to establish that data layer quickly and efficiently is absolutely critical. And in order to do this effectively while bringing forward your team and colleagues along for the journey, it is critical that you have a experienced team that's able to help you implement a solution like this. So at Node, our customer operations team comes from the industry. We have folks from leading companies across the chemical industry landscape, from both the buy and the sell side, from some of the top consulting firms to some of the leading distributors and manufacturers and CPG brands. And these groups, deployment directors, data architects, and solution architects, are there to support your projects from start to finish to make sure that your implementation runs smoothly and that we're able to effectively operationalize your data throughout the business. So I appreciate everybody taking the time. Our information is there below, and we're looking forward to all the great questions and to the engagement following the event. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Charlie, for this very good presentation. Just a key reminder is that if you have questions, please use the Q&A button that you see at the top of your screen. So we will answer to them at the end after the last session. And now I welcome Christophe. Christophe will represent a Special Chem. And Christophe, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you, Pierre. I guess now I can control the slides. Yes, I can. So thank you very much, Pierre and the entire FSCC team for having us to speak about product master data, which is a pretty hot topic, as we just saw with our colleagues of Node. And more specifically, how product master data, so organizing your product information in something structured and valuable, can create value specifically for distributors, and to create new values for principal customers. And of course, if you do both of that, well, you create value for the shareholders. I am Christophe Cabari. I'm the founder of Special Chem. I spent all my career in the chem industry, and let's say the last 25 years in digital for chemicals. I'm coming from Arkema. They left, let's say, in the early 2000s. And basically, I've been developing Special Chem, the material selection platform that most of you, I think, know. And I've been involved in a number of digitalization transformation or digital transformation of chemical companies in the US, in Asia, and in Europe in the last 7 years. And I typically work with a couple of leading distributors to make them, to define their roadmaps, their digital roadmaps, which gave birth to, let's say, what I'm going to discuss today with you and to present Ionic PIM. Ionic PIM is a PIM, a product information management system, which is the natural receptacle, I would say, of your product master data. We're going to come to that in a minute. And we co-developed Ionic PIM with our partners, our strategic partners, Agilis. That's a New York-based software company that is specializing in customer engagement software for the chemical industry. Jay, the founder, is from BASF and Hexion, so he's a veteran from the chem industry. And we both saw the need to create the product information management system of the chem industry. So we launched it. It was the first software doing that for these very specific products that are defined not like every other e-commerce product that you can find online. They're very specific, so it required a solution to manage that vertically, I would say, in a software that was specifically designed by chemical people for chemical people in a way. Selling chemicals in 2025 requires digital product data. Why that? First of all, because buyers have changed. They are much more digital. They want self-serve access to product information. They do their exploration about what's available out there in terms of products digitally, almost exclusively today, 24/7. They don't have the same relationship to salespeople like I was having when I was selling specialty chems or even buying specialty chems myself. They are in general younger. They have B2C-like behaviors, and they like to be autonomous. And they initiate the first contact with the brand today. This is really changing very much from the times I started my career. Another thing that is very important also is the explosion of product information to sell. Today, if you don't provide regulatory data, sustainability data about your product, if you're not able to feed the IT systems, the product lifecycle management systems, or the regulatory management systems of your customers, there are chances that you can't do business anymore in the future. We also having an aging sales force that is retiring. It is also bringing with it the knowledge, the product knowledge accumulated over the decades of experience, of trial and errors, of customer contacts, customer projects, which is unformalized and knowledge and can't be used in a proper way. Very much also, let's say, a new trend, which is the product traceability. So big brands, retailers, and regulators want a greater traceability of the chemicals in the end products. And of course, without a digital, let's say, passport, I would say, this term maybe some of you have already heard about your product, it's going to be difficult to fulfill these obligations asked by the bottom of the value chain about traceability. And of course, and Charlie mentioned a bit about that already, the AI revolution is starting, and it will have a big impact in our industry, between product recommendation that is AI powered, the chem informatics to discover new products, or AI enabled formulations, which is only the beginning. We are going to see a revolution of AI that is going to need a lot of structured information and product information. So this is why we think product information today must be digitized, centralized, organized. And the reality today is that most of the information at the chemical companies, suppliers, and even more at distributors, because the complexity of product information is much bigger at a distributor versus a producer, because of the heterogeneity of sources and the different, let's say, principles defining the products their own way. As a result, the product information today is analog, dispersed, not standardized, without quality management. And what we are doing, what we are doing with Ionic PIM here is we are structuring this information. We are digitalizing it, centralizing it, standardizing it, so that then it can be distributed towards 4 big targets. Number 1 is people. Salespeople, they need more information to sell, to be more effective, to make better sales. To customers, to distributors, to HSE teams, they are being fed with more and more structured information. Digital channels, websites, customer portals, digital platforms like SpecialChem, or web shops or e-commerce. All these channels require a lot of information that needs to be structured. Or, of course, IT systems, ERPs, CRMs, need structured information. And of course, AI agents, even though AI agents can absorb information of many different kinds and sources and formats, it is much, much better if you are providing your systems with structured information. So Ionic PIM the first chemical-specific PIM. We launched it in 2022. And yeah, I'm not going to make a demo here. Of course, if you are interested by demos, we are more than happy to spend real time on it. But in a nutshell, you are putting everything that is product related in one place. You create your one source of truth. We work with you to define that, what your exact needs are, and we deliver a solution with the data in it that is exactly what your teams are needing in a very practical way. Product information and product documentation also. It is also a DAM, a digital asset management, on top of being just a PIM. It is very intuitive, designed for maximal adoption of chemical users. It is pre-configured for chemicals. We got templates and taxonomies that are specifically for the chem industry, defining, for example, the list of all your industries, your applications, the markets, the benefits, the product categories, etc., etc. If you had to do that yourself, you would probably spend, a very substantial number of months. It took us 20 years at Special Chem to come to these taxonomies that are standardized and that are today on the platform, enabling us to aggregate 6,000 different catalogs from 6,000 different companies in one meta catalog, the master catalog of the chemical industry. So you would benefit day one from all this knowledge of 20 plus years of trial and errors and many errors, let me tell you. All the document can be put in there. You can integrate with other systems. You can create sub-catalogs, private catalogs for your customers. You can create your TDSs and documentation in the PIM itself. And what's the beauty of it also, once you have this foundation that is a PIM and the master data that it is containing, then in our case, you can just by one click extend into having an online catalog, or having a customer portal, or having an e-commerce. When I mean a click, I'm really meaning a click, not like quarters of integration works with integrators. It's literally designed so that you tick options, and from the PIM, you are extending very smoothly with these other bricks in the little ecosystems. And in the future, very probably every company will have a PIM, a catalog, and customer portals, because they are going to be, very probably something common, I would say. Plus a lot of features and new features that are being implemented all the time. We are releasing, and this is the beauty of the SaaS software. So the Ionic PIM is not a software that you are installing on your own servers. It is a SaaS mode. It is a software that you are consuming through a web browser. So you don't need to deal with security, with safety, with availability. So we care of that. You just concentrate on exploiting the benefits of it. Before going to the let's say applications themselves, last slide of how we structure our offering. On top of the software itself, Ionic PIM, we are also offering services of designing your data model. What is exactly the use cases you are pursuing? What is the way you are working? What is your technological setup in your company? And then we would design your specific data model for your own company, your own use cases. We will also edit your product data from the tons of product information hidden between Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, TDSs, SDSs, leaflets. You give all that to us, and we bring that back to you in a formatted way in your PIM. Okay, so we handle all the difficulties, both with AI tools, of course, but AI has got limits also, and this is why we are more leaning towards having a hybrid approach, AI tools with chemical experts. So we got more than 30 of these experts within the Special Chem team of implementation who are just dealing with product data and making sure and validating that what is extracted, what is, the result of the AI tools, which are great, but not perfect, then we deliver something really, really perfect that you can trust 100% in your own PIM. We can, of course, integrate Ionic PIM with other systems, APIs, and other kind of integration systems. And we can naturally extend with one click into a catalog to create a very solid and rich search experience on your website, which is one of the ways today to engage with the customers who are much more digital than before. Okay. So that's a little ecosystem of software. What is really important also, we're really insisting on that. In our case, the tech, of course, we are a tech company. We've got, between SpecialChem and Agilis, we are more than 130 people in the two companies, very, very tech oriented. But what is really very important for us is your use cases. How are you going? What are your problems? What do you want to do with your PIM? And there are many, many different use cases. I'm going to name some of them just after, but it is super important for us to make sure that you are super happy after we implement it and that your teams use it, that the adoption is maximal. We need to understand what you want to do with it, and we are going to deliver exactly what you need. We are use case based implementing, and also, if you say use case based, you mean also ROI based. Okay. If you don't know exactly the ROI of implementing a PIM, it's better not to implement a PIM, and we can work with you on that. And now we start to have quite a bit of experience in product information management and creating master data in this industry. A couple of companies using our solutions, you recognize some of them. The top three, I think, are FECC members, if I'm not mistaken. So both distributors and producers that we are accompanying with our solutions. Now, okay, what value can you create with a product master data that is hosted in a PIM? Remember, we put the usages at the very core of every implementation, and we are really, really meaning it. So the very first thing customers are doing with Ionic PIM is, they say, okay, I know my cells, they are only up and they are only working like maybe 8 hours a day, but what's happening in the rest of the day? Customers are all around the world. They are 24/7. They almost never sleep as a market. They want self-serve experience. They don't want to have a sales guy that is visiting us just to pitch a product that they don't need, or pitch them at the moment that they are not needing anything, basically. So the best sales tool in absence of sales reps is an online catalog. This is really a very powerful tool that is not only making you present in the digital world and each individual product of yours, but also in the eyes of search engines. If you are not referenced, if your pages, your product pages, your documents are not well referenced on search engines, they are almost non-existing, basically. And they maybe can be discovered by your existing clients, but not by new customers. So online catalogs, it's something very, very powerful to create more traffic, more leads, and better leads on your website. And by the way, in our case, when we create an online catalog of yours, we can also create a customer portal, which is what you need basically. That is protected by let's say some ID password for your existing clients to deliver specific information and product information. Now, of course, without structured information, you cannot offer a structured catalog. So you need a PIM to have a structured catalog, enabling searchers by product, application, market, function, benefits, etc., you name it, a rich search experience. Okay. let me show you here a couple of examples of online catalogs that we are powering based on our solutions. So typically here, Evonik, indie beauty care boutique. They want to handle the long tail of indie brands here. You can see one of the implementation of our catalog here. Same thing here with Wanhua, Chinese company. We are managing their chemicals and plastics portfolio and engaging very successfully new customers. This is also coming with natural extension because we have structured the information in the back end. Then we can provide bots. Typically here you see on the Evonik site here, you can see what we call virtual chemist. That's a product selection assistant, basically AI powered, very effective. If you had asked me 18 months ago that we would reach this level of reliability in results, I would have said, yeah, maybe in 5 years. And honestly, it happened within the 12 months. So this is really, a revolution that we are living here. And we are part of it, and we can offer this kind of extension to you, in a very simple and trustable way. Okay. Not every online catalog will have its bot extension to make product selection AI assisted, but this is something you can do internally first with your own sales forces. They need acceptance first, but the tech is there. But what is missing in most cases is the product information that is structured. What you can also do, and this is what most distributors start with, I would say, is to make their salespeople sell better. If you are having a PIM like Ionic PIM, then your sales can make faster product recommendations. The sales reps have access to all the internal search capabilities in your PIM and access to much more information than what you put on a catalog, of course. They can access to all documentation all at once. They don't have to go into several systems, several files to find product information all in one place. So faster product recommendation, better product recommendation, because you can also store tribal knowledge about your products. All this famous knowledge that is in the mind of your best sales reps or your support teams. You can put that also in Ionic PIM, and all of a sudden, all the teams having access to this product information and the product knowledge related to it, they benefit from it, be it alternative products, how to formulate, how to sell, the cross-selling, upselling capabilities. So all this is making better product recommendation altogether. If you are putting pricing guidelines in your, maybe not prices, but pricing guidelines for each product, then of course you are optimizing also the prices your sales reps will get out of your chemicals. And of course, as you have all information in one place and all documentation in one place, the sales training, the training of newcomers is, of course, much faster and much better than with traditional historical systems where most information is scattered and not formalized. So that is also making your sales reps better, faster. Another obvious one is the fact that you can improve your document management. Document management is super classic in this industry, but it can be improved massively with a PIM. Number one, because you can store all your product-related documents in one place, okay, of course, which means also that you can manage the different languages, you can manage the validity dates, you can manage the versionings also in a proper and standardized way. You can also create automatically documents. If you have all your product information in one place, then you push a button and you create the TDS of this product. Of course, most of you as the distributors, you are inheriting from TDSs from your principals, and then you are passing that to customers. But in a number of cases, you have to create your own TDSs. So yeah, PIM and Ionic PIM can do that pretty easily, and at your colors, at your templates, of course. Also, in terms of practices, it might be better in a number of cases to send links to documents and not the documents themselves, because the advantage of a link that you send to a customer of yours is that at the end of this link, they are always going to get to the right and always up-to-date documents. Plus, you're having tracking capabilities when they click on what. Okay, so that is also changing the way you might want to exchange documents with your customers. We can also create automatic exchange processes with your principals and with your customers. That is also going to be pretty standard probably in the future, this ability to exchange at scale the right information upstream and downstream. That we are working on also, and we can work on that with you too, of course. You can create private catalogs for your customers, especially your big customers. Yeah, altogether, you are improving massively the, let's say, the process of document creation, management, exchange, and you are rationalizing that and saving lots of FTEs on top of making your customer much more happy with the result of it. A fourth, and very specific to distributors, a fourth family of use cases is to enhance the services to principals. Most distributors I know, they are struggling with reporting to the principals, especially when dealing with specialty chems. Why? Because if the information is not structured very well, it's difficult to make a reporting that is aggregating data across 5 ERPs and 3 CRMs. With Ionic PIM acting as one source of truth, we can connect and we can be the bridge, the Rosetta Stone, if you will, between all these different ERPs. We can, in one place, we can tell that this product is having this code and this name in ERP number 1, ERP number 2, this is something different, etc., etc. And as a result of that, you can very quickly aggregate information because of Ionic PIM through different ERPs and having reporting that are much faster and much more reliable also, and richer, because then you can for the volumes or the sales you have made for this principal, meaning this product on all these different countries, you got this information immediately in a push of a button because of Ionic PIM in your BI, very probably, which also means you can also you can also provide much more and much deeper information, because if you know you have sold 100 tons of products from Principal A last month, you can deep dive into knowing for which markets, which applications, for which benefits, etc., because you have enriched your data, your product data in the company with very reliable new categorization of this product, if you will. So richer reportings, speedier reportings to your principals. You can even think about making this reporting real-time and self-serve, okay? Thanks to this PIM that is creating this cross-referencing across all your different systems. And if your online catalog is also very successful and having a lot of traffic, well, you can maybe offer a service of visibility to some of your principals. Maybe you can become really a marketing arm of them, not just a distribution arm, because you could bring services of visibility, services of analytics. If you are able to analyze what's happening on your online catalogs, what are your customers looking for, the most popular products, families, market, etc., then you are transforming yourselves into even much more a marketing arm and enriching the relationship with your principals. This can be extended if you are equipped for that. And AI can play a role in this, in detecting trends in your product information that is enriching your sales information. Okay? So that's a whole new set of values that you can create for your principals and appear on top of that as a much more digital and tech distributor, I would say, on top. And of course, there are also a number of new applications and new opportunities. Once your data is structured in your systems, you will see immediately new applications, new processes that you can derive from that. And there will be many AI applications relying on product information in the future. Product knowledge retention at scale, value chain traceability, compliance, especially what's happening in Europe. We are the continent that is regulating the world. Okay, so yes, so be it. The advantage of it is that, well, we are followed some years after by other regions. And one of the new things that every company selling products or producing products will have to do in the future is the DPP, the Digital Product Passport. And without a PIM, it's of course almost impossible to manage the product environmental footprint of your product, its passport relative to sustainability criteria that can be so that you can prove your how sustainable or not products are, and improved on this basis, of course. Certification, it's the same thing. Without a PIM, it's quite, let's say with a PIM, and especially Ionic PIM, it is much easier to get these certifications because, yeah, a good chunk of the work is already done in structuring and hosting this information and making it available to the entire company and to customers. That's it for me in terms of usages and use cases. There are other use cases. I just presented big families, and some of these applications are really distributor specific. We can, of course, discuss other ideas that you might have, and there are, sky is the limit here. But a couple of things I wanted to just summarize here. With a solution like Ionic PIM, you are, number one, getting to the result of having your product master data in time, really, I would say in no time, speed. Because Ionic PIM solutions are pre-configured for chemicals, because we have this integration with catalogs and with other bricks, because we can do AI-enabled edition, because we validate your data for you, you don't have to hire people, because you don't need a digital agency to create your catalog, because the integration is so easy on your website. PIM and catalog, speed to the result is of essence here, and this is something on which we really can commit and deliver on, including on expectations that are pretty tense. Speed, number one. Number two is peace of mind. It is your PIM, it is your data. It is not SpecialChem data, that the one you find on the SpecialChem platform. What we will put in your PIM is going to be your data that we can enrich with some of our data, but it is your software. It is not the part of the SpecialChem, let's say, platform, okay, that you are renting. It is your own strategic software that is, providing you a lot of value and strategic autonomy in the future. Chemical specific, so you're going to benefit from 20 plus years of catalog management and product master data management in the chemical industry. it's not a trial and error. We won't proceed by trial and error. We'll go pretty straightforward to what you need to be successful after having done lots of implementation for ourselves and for chemical specific clients. So we'll go straight to the products you need basically, and we know pretty clearly the way to lead you there, or else we won't start let's say the mission with you. And easy one-click integration on your website, extension to portals. In a way, this is peace of mind. You are buying peace of mind. It's not going to be like a mega ERP project that you start and then it is super critical and you don't know when you're going to end up. Or dealing with a software company that is not knowing anything to the chem industry. So you have to train from the beginning on, okay, what is the product, how to sell them, how you describe them, etc., etc. So this peace of mind is quite important in substantial IT platforms and software like a PIM. And as I mentioned during this presentation, we do implementations only that are use case based. So we don't just throw a PIM at you. We need to know how you want to use it. And we are going to deliver exactly what you need, not just a PIM or a product master data, but yours that's going to be successful. ROI-based implementation, it's a variable cost as it is a SaaS software. It's not a super big, let's say, CapEx at the beginning. You are variabilizing your cost over the time of usage that is aligned with the value created. And we are also providing, we can enrich your data with other data sources that you don't have today about regulatory alternatives and things like that directly on your software. If you want to know more, you can visit our website, ionicpim.com, and more specifically the blog section. Or you can request a demo, or call me, or reach out to me at this email address or phone number, and we'll be more than happy, to discuss your very specific needs and to see if we can help. This being said, ready for questions, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christophe. Very, very interesting presentation. I will invite the speaker to join us. Invisible. So, Diana, could you move to the next slide? No, the slide before. Just as a reminder, you will see that there is a button at the top of your screen, which is called Q&A. Feel free to ask questions. There's still time to do it. I will let the presenter know about it. So what you should know also is that you're going to receive by mail a copy of today's presentation. So you have the contact details of all the presenters in the presentation, and feel free to contact them directly if you have some additional questions coming after the time slot we will allocate it to the Q&A. Just to be visible, I think you did not put your screen visible. Your camera should be closed.
Tom.
Your camera is closed. For Tom. Tom, your camera is closed.
My connection was, I lost connection for a second there. My apologies.
No problem. So let's move to the question, if you agree. My first question, but luck will be for you, Tom. How can digital market help the distributor to adopt more circular business model by reducing the chemical waste?
Sorry, what was how can we adopt more circular business models?
So how can digital marketplace help distributor to adopt a more circular business model by reducing chemical waste.
Yes. So the idea behind is that you can imagine for a chemical company or a distributor, I hope at least that their volumes will be very limited. So to really set up a specific team and a specific business function for those small volumes that are also often sporadic doesn't make sense. So therefore, what we do, since we are taking, let's say, the residuals from many companies, by utilizing one single source platform, we can help to facilitate and, of course, to encourage the distribution of these chemicals. So we strongly believe that this is something of a lot of collaboration. So once we start partnering with people and we get a broad network, these kind of e-platforms can be used as a source to find either leads or indeed to find a potential buyer for those chemicals. And by the e-platform approach, you don't go through the system of we have to sell to a specific company that maybe is not happy with the conditions. Everything remains where it is, and you just try to find as many leads as possible in a shortest time possible.
Thank you. My next question will be for you, Charlie. Many companies are still hesitant to adopt artificial intelligence. What could be recommended as the first practical solution for artificial intelligence solution that distributor can implement without major investment?
There's definitely a lot of hype around AI, and there's definitely no shortage of ideas out there and different use cases to be accomplished across the entire business. There are applications for AI in finance and in procurement and sales and marketing. I think what they all have in common is that they're going to be reliant on clean, comprehensive, and accurate product data. And so obviously our biased point of view, where we've anchored the company and kind of our strategy, is on helping customers make sure that they have command and control over their underlying product data, as well as the other branches of master data. And I think most important here is being able to be confident in its accuracy and comprehensiveness. And so not just trusting the models, but relying on quality assurance and chemical industry experts to be able to validate that, tune the models to your preferences, and make sure that you've got the right team around you to support any experimentation or implementation of particular use cases. So, our key takeaway would be that in order to go and fully leverage the benefits of AI, you need to first have command and control over the underlying product data. So I'd start there.
Thank you. My next question will be for you, Christophe. So is the AI both layering only the structured BIMS data for its answer, or is it using also unstructured information like SDS or external data?
Mm-hmm. So in our case, AI is, as I mentioned in my presentation, the usages we make of it today that we can talk of here is, of course, the addition of product information, addition in your PIM, for example. So here, obviously, the interest of AI is to ingest data information in different formats from different sources, and replacing the intelligence of the tens of people who would do that and maybe not so well, let's say at scale and at an incredible short amount of time. So here the ingestion can be done of structured, unstructured information to create the structure precisely. And the second thing that you can do that I talked about, it's about using the product master data that you have created and put in the Ionic PIM. It's the fact that you then enable people who need product information, who need to select a product, who need to know what is the additive that they required. Do you have this kind of pigment? Is this kind of resin suitable for me? So these kind of questions that typically are answered by salespeople. There can be a first row answer here by AI and AI agents, and that is working pretty well. And as I mentioned, much faster than I expected myself. So in these two cases, they don't work exactly the same way. The AI behind is, of course, not the same. It's not trained the same way, obviously. Case number one, you go from unstructured to highly structured. Case number two, you go from structured information into something that is adapted to the unstructured nature of natural language, people asking questions, basically.
Thank you, Christophe. So my next question will be for you, Tom, if you agree. So what are the biggest barriers for company to start using platform like ChemShim?
Well, I think the major barriers, of course, what we face from our end, and I think my colleagues from digital services agree, is that you see the adoption of the entire chemical industry into digital services is lagging a bit behind compared to other industries. I think it also has to do with the fact that we are indeed trading, we're trading chemicals. There's a lot more compliance involved. There's a lot more legislation involved. So that I think is a very important case to keep in mind. When it is specifically to ours, since we are, let's say, a specialized trader of these chemicals that are underutilized, for a lot of companies, of course, it is not nice to publicly put openly there, like, look, these are chemicals we are going to throw away at the end of the year, because you can imagine it will also have a negative impact on their brand value. I think also here, this is a moment of change that we're heading into, especially here in Europe. At some point now, also with the legislation pushing harder on scope 1, 2, 3, that people have to be more open. At some point, we have to be honest. It's happening, and I think it should be a proud thing to say, look, we know it's happening, but we are taking action to prevent it from happening. And I think that is a bit the change in mindset that we need to arrive at, where indeed digital services are not seen as like once a while, but really are the ones that help us to overcome the industry challenges that we all know are there. If we talk about underutilized chemicals, the lack of structured master data, we all know that some elements require an evolution, and it's just it's a matter of accepting this, changing the mindset, and saying, okay, we are choosing this service to help us move to the next level and to be ready for the future.
Thank you. So my next question will be for you, Charlie. So how does Node ensure that AI-driven recommendations still provide a human personal touch in customer relationship?
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes, of course. How does Node ensure that AI-driven recommendations still provide a human personalized touch in customer interaction?
Great. So one really important aspect or element of Node is our knowledge team. This was actually the first department ever built at Node. It's led by one of our co-founders, our Chief Knowledge Officer. I've always been jealous of that title. It's a pretty good one. Our knowledge team is about 100 folks. It's led by a few different PhDs in material science and chemistry, and it's comprised of many chemical engineers and folks that have expertise across every different market and product family across the industry. This team works hand in hand with the technology that we've developed to ensure that products are accurately classified. They're the ones building the taxonomies and data models and systems that help ensure that product data comes out not just comprehensive, but also clean and accurate. And this is critical to ensuring the right internal experience for data being fed into core and critical business systems. It's also very important if this product data is ultimately exposed to customers. You want to make sure it is, again, clean and comprehensive and accurate. So that team works hand in hand with the technology. They also reside over a quality assurance function that holds a very high standard for data accuracy and data completeness.
Thank you. Christophe, what will be the biggest advantage of making PIM system the central hub for product data across the entire distribution chain?
So it's a huge topic. But okay, I think my presentation was about showing this at the company level, and I hope I could provide a number of use cases that show the direct value of having a PIM within a company. Now, across the value chain, having a PIM across the value chain, this is not something that is existing. That is, I would say, let's say, existing. And what the closest thing that I see, and let me preach for ourselves, that looks like it is the SpecialCam platform. We got almost 500,000 products in our on the platform from more than 6,000 companies. So that's in a way the master catalog of the industry, and it is being used as such by formulators, technical buyers of chemicals that want to have information about a given product, or who want to find a product with specific specs or a solution to their problems. That's seen this way and used this way by last year there were like close to 9 million people using our platform and going there instead of going into 6,000 different websites of producers. So that's one element, is the hub nature of the SpecialCam platform is what I see as being the closest of the PIM of the entire industry. But as such, there is no, and Charlie I think said that too, there is no standard in the industry to describe product, to define in a homogeneous way what they are, especially the specialty part of these products. So this is why you need knowledge, and Charlie referred about to that. You need knowledge to talk about these products, to define them, to represent them, and to store the information relative to them. So PIMs are used to that, but the PIM for the industry, which, if I understood correctly the question, these are the platforms de facto, but they are not playing, let's say, the same role as a PIM plays for a company within its own walls for the entire industry. It's not there yet.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question for the three of you. I'm from the old generation, and I'm sorry about this, but do you think that artificial intelligence could be used as a spy to try to collect business confidential information?
Well, the good part is, by definition, if it's confidential, it's not known. So the AI also cannot find it. Of course, if the more you learn, the more you teach systems to think on their own, of course, the things that we consider as business confidential will be known by the system, because it can start predicting in ways that now experienced people do. So yes, the more the models grow, you see it already with the open AI sources like ChatGPT, the more they can start predicting. I think in our industry, which I think is uniquely connected in a sense that there is always a very important human element, I do not foresee a very fast change in that. I think most companies that we also work with are known for providing not just a product, but really a service, a tailor-made service to a company. I think that is very difficult, even for AI at the moment, to really overcome. as a direct solution provider. I don't know what my colleagues think, but
yeah, I mean, AI is trained, at least the LLMs. The AI means many things, all right? But if we stick to LLMs, large language models, that is the revolution of the last 2 years, I would say. They are fed with any kind of existing formalized or unformalized data existing there, and the biggest source ever is the web, so it has indexed the web in a way. And what you see today, let's say, is directly coming from what is available online, and that they ingested and transformed into super complex architectures and introduced language models into that, which is a form of structuring this information with super complex vectors. Well, whatever. It is using data that is out there. Now, if you are not protected, if some of your information is out there, it is meant to be confidential, then you have a problem. You made something confidential open, and maybe you are the source of the problem if your information that is supposed to be so confidential is out there. There is a problem here. Now, the LLMs are just using information provided to them. I like what you said, Tom. It can create out of bits and pieces out there that and it can create patterns and understand things that if you didn't have access to all this information, you couldn't create this understanding. That is able, and that we can see provided by the LLMs already today. They are able to create based on data or fill some holes of data also that are missing to create something that is new and non-existing. So they are creating data. Is it confidential data? Not really. It's not your confidential data, but it is something that you might know, that you were the only one to know, and now everybody can know it because the LLMs has put information into the holes. That is something that is existing, of course. Now, you can obviously also create agents that are using these LLMs to do things that are new and can be very edgy compared to the legal perspectives. And you can use AI to gather information in a non very legal way, and we see all these hackers that are becoming much more powerful today than they were before, thanks to AI. So, but it's not AI itself; it is the hacking that is becoming, much more sophisticated and effective thanks to AI also. So, extra protection is the norm, I think, in a world of extra knowledge.
The only thing I would add is that AI is like any other technology. It can be used by good actors, and it can be used by bad actors for nefarious activities. I think there's more good to be created than bad, but you do have to make sure that you're protecting the downside. And so it's very important that the technology and software vendors that you choose to work with have taken the necessary precautions to get SOC 2, SOC 3 certified, get audited under ISO 27001 and 27701, and making sure that those investments are made to protect your data in the systems that you're leveraging would be my one recommendation.
Yeah, and maybe one thing specific to LLMs, if you are using LLMs to have your own little applications, make sure you are not using the open versions of ChatGPT and or Anthropic or Perplexity or the others, because you are providing your data information that can be confidential to a black hole, and you don't know what they can do with it. So train your agents, your robots with data that is protected, and with a legally binding agreement that is going to remain so between you and the company managing the LLM. That's very important, and that's obviously what we are doing in our case, obviously.
So thank you very much. You reached the end of this webinar. I would like to thank the three speakers because it was very, very interesting. I would like to remind the participants that they're going to receive a copy of the presentation. And in the presentation, you have the contact details of the speaker. So feel free to contact them if you have any question. And thanks again for your participation to this webinar. It was well appreciated, and looking forward to have you in a new FECC webinar. Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.